is there's been a lot of conversation in recent years about promotions, promoters. You know, Dion kind of kicked off this conversation about how games are promoted and the compensations that schools receive. All right. Can you just, as a promoter, first, what I want you to do is you've kind of briefly explained your role as it relates to the State Fair Classic, but what is the role of the promoter in putting together this game, putting together any classic for that matter?
Well, the role, a major role, is to try to figure out a way. I try to figure out a way to get the people in the stands and to buy tickets. You have to make it exciting. You have to design radio spots. You have to do some marketing on radio, TV, social media. You know, you have to go in and even negotiate the stadium, the deal with the stadium. How much you gonna pay rent? You got to hire security. You know, I do everything. The building.
Seems like we've had our drop off again, but again, we will resume this conversation once he gets back on. But my question to him before he got dropped off, so I don't want you guys to forget it. Make sure that we're able to ask Mr. Watts this question again, because I think it's a very important question. The question is, what is the role of the promoter?
Okay.
Okay. There you go, Mr. Watts. Thank you again. The question was, what are the role of the promoter? And you got up to getting the stadium for the game. Looked like he dropped off again. But he mentioned, Coach Cole, you've been in this situation before. So that's what I wanted to kind of get your input into it.
Yeah.
What has been your understanding as a coach? What is the role of the promoter?
The promoter first, he'll call either the coach or the athletic director and ask us, do we want to be in a classic game? You know, so sometimes it takes schedule change. Sometimes it takes, well, can we use your home game? And most of all, it takes that both teams come together and decide that's what they want to do. And most of the times when you do play in these classics, you're playing at a neutral site. So that's the first thing. Once you start looking at the dates, then you want to know, well, how is it going to benefit me as a coach? You know what I mean? Or a AD. What's the purse going to be? And then once they get a number to the purse, you as a coach and an athletic director got to sit down and see, because you got to travel. You know what I mean? And are you going to get money up front? Is the money going to be paid after the game? You know, those are things that has to be discussed. You know, you should do a background on this promoter to see, you know, what's going on. Is he a good promoter? Is he a bad promoter? You know, get some references that he's got to send out, because, you know, you're gambling with moving 100 people somewhere, and let's say the hotel ain't right, or the stadium ain't paid, or it ain't enough police. So it's a lot come behind being the promoter.
Mr. Watts, what we had got to is they said you booked the stadium for the event itself. You determine what venue will be, where this will be hosted. Coach Cole was kind of explaining the role of the promoter as the coach and how he understands it to be. So what would you like to add to that?
Well, and that's true to a degree, depending on the type of deal you have with the schools. You know, you just don't go out, and I just won't go out and say, oh, I'm going to put you at Lowe's Fieldhouse, which is a high school stadium. You know, you have to have an agreement that you have to make sure the schools is in the right frame of mind to play the facility that you want to play. You don't want to bring them and degrade the quality of what they're going after, because they got to recruit these kids. These kids are playing in better high school stadiums than some of these HBCU stadiums. So you have to be able to know what they are accustomed in doing at the schools. So we try to take them in the. I've played the Astrodome. I've played Independence Stadium, the Cotton Bowl, Arrowhead Stadium, the Silver Dome, Soldier Field. So we Texas Stadium. We've played some of the major stadiums across the country where that helps on recruiting too. Yeah, it helps recruiting the band. The band is a showpiece too now, it has to work as a team. You have to make it work as a team. So once they put all, like Johnny was saying, once they put all those expenses together, and we sit down and we hash it out, and if your expenses come to, you want to travel a certain way, when they went to Notre Dame, Michigan, Ohio State, they get $1 million, but they got to fly the band, they got to fly the team, they got to feed them 3 meals a day, they got to house them, But what kind of money are they coming home with, and how healthy are those kids gonna be? You traveling 100 kids.
We don't. Is it?
No, I think if people are calling him, there you go. There he's back.
Oh,
go ahead.
Now you must be doing this on your phone. Al.
Are we still there?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Are you
Yes,
doing
sir.
it on your phone?
Can you hear me, Mr. Wash? Hello? Can you
I
hear
don't
me?
think I'm hearing anybody.
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can definitely hear you.
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you, Mr. Wash. We hear you just fine. Can you hear us, Mr. Wash? Are you able to hear us? Well, let's take this moment to welcome the third member of this broadcast, the man who has just arrived, who despises being late and not on time, but we understand that it must be something important if Mr. Campbell is late. He's a very timely person, and I want to thank you for joining us, Mr. Campbell. If whatever kept you away, I hope that everything is settled down and you've blessed somebody in the process.
Well, I could not miss this, but had to drop my first cousin, proud professor at Tennessee State. He's going back to Nashville, and I had to drop him off to the airport. He was in travel, so I had to get him where he needs to go. So he's up there doing great work up there at Tennessee State. So, I had to get him to that airport.
Hey, well, thank you, man. We were just talking about talking to Al Wash, and I was asking him the role of the promoter, and you have been a promoter before, and I guess we can just go ahead, and Coach Cole has worked with promoters as a head coach, right?
Yeah.
So
I love your background too, Mr. Campbell.
Man, listen, we got to keep this thing going, man. I came right, man. Like I said, I know Mr. Walter wasn't gonna be ready for that background I had, but he ain't here. So, but still, as you say, State Fair Classic, get them tickets. So I had to have that background, coach.
He's back with us. He is back with us.
I'm sorry. I tried to get it on my computer, and I'm on my telephone, every time somebody calls me,
I know he's
I
getting a
get
lot of
knocked
phone
off.
calls. He probably doing it like you
Yeah,
said.
yeah. I want to thank you, Mr. Watts. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
I want to thank you, Mr. Watts. Hey, we sticking with it. We here for you, and as you work through whatever, because I know you the point man. You got a lot riding. You're expecting 75,000 people this weekend. I mean, this in 2 weeks at the State Fair Classic.
Hey, we can hear you, so you can just come on and talk.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
No, hey, I guess you called him this time, huh?
Yeah, Coach. I had to go ahead on and send some time. Go ahead.
Can you hear us,
I know
Mr.
y'all
Watts?
say y'all can hear me, but I don't know. I don't know what we discussing.
No. Can you hear me?
We
Can you
hear
hear me, Mr. Watts?
Anyone else. So it takes a lot of information to build a budget, and a budget that everybody can agree upon, so we can then, see what the ticket price need to be. We have a $40 ticket. Like you said earlier, you can't beat a $40 ticket in today's time. You pay $440 to go see a concert. You see all this for $40, 2 or 3 shows, an all-day affair with your family, and have a great time.
Can you hear us, Mr. Watts?
No, but keep going.
I mean, he can't keep going because he don't know where he is. Let me see. Hey, let me see. See if he can. What about now, Mr. Watts? Can you hear us?
Hey, that's what we need for people to subscribe.
Sorry for the confusion on my part, and but I want to thank everybody and support the game. Come out, and if you've never seen a real entertainment show, come next weekend to Dallas, Texas, and you're gonna see the greatest HBCU game. Everybody know about Turkey Day Classic, one in Birmingham, the Bayou Classic. But if you've never been to Texas, baby, we do it first.
Yeah. Campbell.
Yes, sir.
We gonna get him. We gonna get him.
We gonna get him.
Mr. Watts.
You want me to call him?
I got him. Can you hear me, Mr. Watts?
I hear you.
All right, you right here with us, Mr. Watts. We got you on the telephone now, and so if you don't mind talking to us on the phone, we good to go. If you can.
All right, that's fine.
All right, Mr. Watts. This is what I wanted to kind of ask you. When we talk about a classic, a lot of responsibility is put on the promoter, right? And the promoter seems to always be the scapegoat in these conversations of why a classic fails. In your estimation, what's the true responsibility of the promoter, and what is the reason why classics fail?
Well, I know somebody was saying check out and find out something about the promoter. We got to do the same thing. We got to find out something about the athletic director, the head football coach, and the schools, and what their thinkings are and what they want to get out of it. And if everybody don't want to get the thing, then, it's not a good marriage for us to make this happen. So you have to be able to know what everybody wants out of it to move forward.
And let me ask you this also, Mr. Watts. What makes a good classic? What makes a good classic? For all of you guys aspiring promoters out there that want to put on a classic, what would make a good classic, and what are the ingredients of a good classic?
The ingredients is being able to be in a market that you don't get a lot of HBCU games. It's, you know, you can't go to a market where you have two or three HBCU games in a year, you know, and that's why they're so successful in a Dallas, in a markets that you don't have back-to-back games. And you have to have the right combination of teams, you know, and some teams just don't draw in certain markets. You have to know where the base are from. You can't go to Alabama without an Alabama school. You know, you want to go where the drawing power is, and that's something that a promoter has to know. He has to do his homework. You know, even when we were doing games, Chicago, we knew that it needed to be a Mississippi school playing in Chicago. We went to Detroit. We know we needed an Alabama to play. Years ago, that's where they went to get these factory jobs from Alabama to Mississippi, going up on the East Coast. And if you want to go, you need to go with a Texas school or a Louisiana school. You know, that's where they was going. A lot of them was going west to get jobs out there. So you have to know where the base is, and you have to know where the alumni are. You try to go where there's a big alumni chapter in these markets. So I wouldn't take no game into Utah. If I can do a classic game in Utah, that don't make no sense. So, but some people think because you're doing a classic, you can make it work. Some people think that you can compete against another classic game. Now, I've seen other games come to Dallas. They say, oh, we're going to go to Texas Stadium. That game, Grambling and Prairie View, is at the Cotton Bowl. We're going to go over here to Texas Stadium because that's where the Cowboys play. I mean, there's no transportation service out there. There's no out there. You're going to pay big dollars to go into that stadium. And just because the Cowboys play there don't mean you're going to draw over there. Now, we went over to Texas Stadium with Grambling, but we knew what we were doing. We played Grambling and SMU and packed it out. That's when they had Craig James and you know, so we know what we were doing. So you just have to, it has to be some homework done on the promoter side to know where to go and where you're going to draw people.
Yeah. Mr. How many years did the game been in the Cotton Bowl, or that's where it originated at?
Well, we've been in the Bowl. The game been played in the Cotton Bowl for 100 years. Wow. Now, Grambling and Prairie View has been playing in the Cotton Bowl I've been doing it for 50 years, and it was done before I came along. So I would say it's been maybe about 60, 65 years they've been playing. The first 4 years, it was Langston and Wiley. And then became Prairie View and Wiley because they wanted two Texas schools, but that was Negro Day in the fair. And the game was played on a Monday night. So, wow. and Eddie Robinson would say they was the one who started Monday Night Football because that's when the only time you could get into a stadium. You couldn't get in there on a Saturday, the big college day.
Wow.
Wow.
That's some history. That's some history.
Oh, good old Negro Day.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Watts, because I like to talk about the business aspect of it. What kind of economic infusion is the State Fair Classic to the city of Dallas and surrounding areas? Do you have any numbers you can introduce?
They'll tell us what they want us to hear. And they said the economical impact has been in the number of $20 million. Well, I've seen how they've done research to get these numbers, and it don't work. And they brought in, one year I seen them, and they said they're going to do a good study. They brought in a team of kids and students from Montana, a college out of Montana that they hired. They must have had about 50 of them. And these people were trying to start stop our clientele and say, what hotel are you staying in? Where you from? And, you know, and try to get information out of them. And these black people was looking at them like they're crazy and just kept walking. You can't do studies like that. You know, they don't come, they don't know, and all they're looking at is the major hotels downtown. They don't go to Oak Cliff, the black side, or it's white people live in Oak Cliff too, but you know, they don't look at how we spend our money. We go get our hair fixed, we go get our car washed, we go buy new outfits, we might go to dinner the night before when we get into town. You know, we gonna go to a hotel, we might go to a smaller hotel outside where we can pay $95 versus $195 because we got kids too. And the times are different now. So there's a lot of things that, you know, that they try to calculate to say. Now in Shreveport, we had a meeting today. They said the hotels was 8% higher on Labor Day weekend on that Friday and Saturday, and it was 13% higher on that Sunday. You know, more rooms than the normal Labor Day weekend. You know, so they know that restaurants was making more money. So it was a success in there. And the city, you know, I think they might have spent maybe $100,000, but it was all in-kind type service. You can't do a game with in-kind. In other words, we're going to give you free rent, but we're going to charge you for this labor and this labor, and they bring in labor from New Orleans. You know, why wouldn't you just hire the people in Shreveport? You know, and it's just, but these are things that they learned this year, and they did make an agreement that they have a 3-year type of agreement, and they're going to do it again next year. And I think it'll be bigger and it'll be better and more money for the city. And I think we'll end up getting more sponsors. They sent me a picture of Independence Bowl attendance, and I knew what the kickoff classic, we called it in Shreveport. I knew what that attendance was, and everybody agreed. They told me this is 30 years of work in the Independence Bowl. Now look at this game here. This is 1 year that we did in the Independence Bowl. You know, and our crowd was just as big or bigger than the Independence Bowl.
Wow. So it's pretty much of course I know, you know, you think big, so it pretty much was a successful opening game for the future of that game.
Oh yeah. And even me as a company, I went overboard, and salaries that I was making, I spent a good portion of that to make it even better, because they were trying to tell me where I need to advertise. I didn't want to go against the city, the mayor, sports commission. And I'm saying, you know, they said, well, you need to advertise in Texarkana. They got new highway. People can get from Texarkana in 45 minutes. Man, I looked at the numbers to see if I had any ticket sales in Texarkana. I should have took that money, took my first thought, and spent more money in East Texas.
Absolutely.
East Texas had more tickets sold out of Longview, Marshall, Tyler than in Texarkana, and it would have been cheaper to advertise in East Texas than in Texarkana.
One thing I do know, if you put a bus on it that's going to the casino, you can advertise in Waco and they'll come to the game. It all depends on how you market it and who you market to.
Those times are kind of, it's not what it used to be when the casinos was new.
Okay.
When the casinos population, they had maybe about 10 casinos down there when they first opened up. I think right now they only have maybe 5 casinos.
Really?
They all are shut down. The economy is not what it used to be.
Mm.
Yeah, it was people in the casino and they're gambling, but I mean, it's not like 25 years, 30 years ago, and we had better crowds when we were playing Alcorn and Grambling and Arkansas at Pine Bluff at Grambling. We had better crowds back then than we have today. We was doing 30,000 people back then.
Yeah. Al, what is if you can remember in your 50 years of putting this game on, what is the farthest place where people have bought tickets and actually came to the Classic game?
Oh, we sell tickets for this Classic game. We sell tickets in Alaska, Canada, Mexico, Maine, Iowa. I mean, there's some cities that I didn't even believe there was black people in there. Miami, Fort Lauderdale. We have a big population coming from there. And they're not on no buses. They got to be flying in or get there some kind of way to get out of there and get back home. We got Detroit, Chicago, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C. They're coming from everywhere. We're not doing the numbers just in Dallas alone. We advertise throughout Texas, Oklahoma, and Louisiana. The social media reach everywhere.
Wow. That's some of the farthest way that people have bought tickets and actually came to the game.
Oh, every year. Yeah. Every year. I pull a report almost every 2 weeks to tell me where I'm selling tickets at on Ticketmaster. That's just monitoring Ticketmaster. That's not monitoring alumni that might be in these markets and will call the university and say, I need 5 tickets, 2 tickets, put it on my credit card. And they have them on their telephone, but I can monitor until I get a report at the end of the game showing what percentage out of the Texas market, or I can say even in the Texas, Louisiana, and where they coming from, and that's what lets me know where to spend my money.
Mr. Walsh, this is my last question, and I don't even know if you can give me an answer. How do you?
I can give you one.
How do you provide multiple concert venues, provide entrance to the fair, and entrance to the game, all for $40 in 2025?
Because it's a vested interest from all those people to make this work. The fair kick in money, the city kicks in money, all the corporate sponsors, they kick in money. They want the people to come. And we designed the concert not knowing, but we designed the concert years ago and put it at the beginning of the game out on the fair to get the attendance in there early. Because you know us, it's 6 o'clock kickoff, we'll wait till 5:45 and think we're going to walk into the stadium with 400,000 people out there on the fairground. Man, these people are stuck in traffic. They get into the game by the halftime. They get mad and hollering at me. Oh, man, I want my money back. Halftime is over with. The game is almost, we've been in traffic. You're in traffic because you leave home late.
Yeah.
You can't just pop your fingers and be in that stadium. So it's vested interest for the fair to absorb some of that money, cost for the talent. They give us money to help offset our costs. Because if I got 50,000 people in that fair, everything's on coupons. So how many people leaving out of there with coupons still in their pocket? And they say, well, I'm going to come back next week or something. They never come back. I always end up, you can't use them the next year. So if you got 50,000 people times $100, at least you gonna spend, which if you got kids, if you just by yourself, you're gonna spend $100 in that on that fairground. $100 times 50,000, you calculate that.
That's $5 million by my math. But
Well, HBCU tickets are $150 a person. And they got 94,000 seats in the Cotton Bowl times $150.
wow. Now you're able to do all of this, Mr. Watts, and write both schools a fat check. That's almost.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't be. You know, they get a fat check, and I get a little bitty fat check. It's business, you know. It's not a one-way street. So if they can make money, and they make more money, I would say that game paid out more money for HBCU game and even over and beyond the Bayou Classic. Probably more than the Birmingham game. I guarantee you that the school took home more money than those, you know, and they both the same distance from here.
And is let me ask you this here. Is the Birmingham ticket $40 and the fair?
I don't know what Birmingham tickets are. I don't know what. I know the Bayou Classic tickets are a little higher. So, but I think another thing is we're a general admission house, so we got a reserve seats, so that makes a difference. When you do reserve seats, you got to have ushers, ticket takers. You got to have a lot of staffing to make that work. You know, you might have an additional 100,000 or more in just ushers to try to keep them. But our game was designed as a general admission house, and you know, and it's an event. You know, some of them gonna leave out and go to the fair and walk the fair, and you know, if the game get out of hand, and you know, even if it's a close game, we have a lot of activities going on for them to see.
You know, like I say, we got there about 1 o'clock, man, and it was more than enough activities to keep us busy and engaged all the way up to about 4:30, 5 o'clock when we started moving toward the stadium itself. And we were able to get in there with no problem and be there with, you know, in plenty of time for kickoff. So if you plan properly, it can be a very pleasant, you know, eventful evening. You know, but you're right. You can't, because even us getting there at 1, we had at least 30 minutes of traffic just outside the stadium that we had to navigate. And I'm sure it was much more than that the later you arrived at the stadium.
Oh, no doubt about that. And you didn't even know where you was going. So
yeah,
if you got in there in 30 minutes, but if you got there at 1 o'clock, that was a good time anyway.
Yeah. And they had plenty staff, it was plenty parking. We were able to park up close. You know, it was like I say, it was really nice. It was really easy peasy get in there. And then you don't have to worry about getting out of there because it's such an event going on that night. It's time to get your turkey leg. It's time to get your fried Snicker. It's time to get down. For me, it was time for me to get a cigar. Like I say, I wasn't in no rush to leave. And especially after Prairie View had that last second victory, it was sure enough time to have a good time.
But last year went into 5 overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game lasted all night.
I almost missed my turkey leg because of that, Al.
Well, a lot of people, when they come, they'll bring their little ice chest, and they have special places where they buy their turkey leg, and they'll say, look, I want 10 turkey legs, and they'll know to call the people early, and they put their name on their box, and them people put them 10 turkey legs in there, and when they come out of there, they go by there and get them 10 turkey legs, and they take them back to Killeen, Shreveport, you know, and boy, man, Them turkey legs is the talk of the fair.
Now let me ask you this here, Al. You mentioned Killeen, and I noticed when I went there last year that so many guys that I was in the military with just happened to be up there at the game. Do you have a special promoter or is it a good turnout from Killeen? And that's at least 150, almost 160 miles away from Dallas. So what is there a good turnout from that area?
From Dallas. It's about 2.5 hour drive from that from Dallas, and I sell about 2,000 tickets in the Killeen, Hawker Heights, and Fort Hood. You had a big military base there, and those people are looking for places to go on weekends. They want to get away for a weekend, especially where they can take their families. So Killeen is probably outside of Dallas. Killeen and Houston is probably my best markets that I'm selling tickets in.
Well, it looks like it's going to be an exciting weekend. I know this is your busiest time. You know, we always appreciate you coming on and sharing your knowledge and wisdom on this HBCU deal. I mean, we're just glad to have you a part. We want to make sure that, we all HBCU guys, that you get your flowers while you're on top, not on the bottom. Campbell, I know you came in late. Was there some things that you want to share?
No, Mr. Walsh has always been a leader, and I'll talk about this. I know I know you guys have been on a long time, but I am going to talk about something that he said historic when he said about the Negro Day. And it made me, think about something. And I'll talk because we don't want to hold Mr. Walsh up. But, I want people to understand how far we've come. And I think, we take for granted. We got a lot of great young people that listen to this show. I'm proud of some of these guys that interact with, very smart. They're going to carry the torch. But I think sometimes we forget how far we've come and the people that have laid it right, because, and just real quick, my mother and them in Jackson do the same thing at the fair. They could only go to the fair on Tuesday. They had one day for everybody black in Jackson to go to the fair, and that was on a Tuesday. And to hear how that was all over the South, and to see that we have a black man in a stadium that at one time we couldn't go to on the weekend, that just makes me very proud. And Mr. Walsh, I salute you for that. But I want also our young people to know that it's people like you that have trailblazed so they can be able to be the next Al Walsh.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Al. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Good love. I'll see you definitely on Friday and call you and make sure that we hang out and, get the right stuff up in your suite this time now.
All right, I will.
All right.
And thank you, Al. And I'll give you a call probably tomorrow, and then we'll catch up.
All right. Thank you very much, and thank all of y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Al. Yeah. Appreciate it.
All right.
And we're going to play this one more time before we get out of here. I think it's, let me play it one more again.
There's never been an artist with this many hit songs. September 27th. They're coming. It's TLC, the Farewell Tour, live at the State Fair Classic. And this year, we're keeping it 100. The 100th anniversary State Fair Classic. You don't want to miss this one. Live on the Chevy main stage. The post-game concert with the legends.
Hey, we don't
price where you can afford to bring the entire family. TLC in their Farewell Tour at State Fair Classic. Saturday, September 27th, Dallas Cotton Bowl. Sponsored by the City of Dallas, Dallas Sports Commission, State Fair of Texas, Pepsi, Hipkin Law Firm, and ALW Entertainment. Tickets at the Grambling Athletic Ticket Office and Ticketmaster.
Hey, we're going to have to get them backstage passes.
Hey, those ladies from Atlanta are coming down, man, and it's sure to be a good time, man. TLC is a legendary R&B group. and definitely he hit a home run this time with that kind of entertainment.
Yeah, almost.
All right, guys. We're gonna get through this, guys. We're gonna go through the MEAC, go through the little CAA, and then of course we're gonna walk through the SWAC. But with the MEAC, I'll just go ahead and start. We have, and let me go ahead and put Johnny Thornton up here because he want me to recognize this, and so I'm gonna do him a favor. Johnny's my man, and I don't have no problem with Johnny, and I'm gonna give people they flowers when they earn them. All right. So we had Howard and Morehouse. Anything surprise you guys there in that game? Does that look like how it's supposed to be, guys, or I thought it was in keeping with how it's supposed to be? I was interested to find out that they played that game in MetLife Stadium. I hadn't seen any attendance numbers, but what do you guys think about that? Is that something that they have all the time there, or do they rotate that game? How does that?
The second or third year they played that up in MetLife, I believe.
Yes.
So so this is not something new. I think they played that game up there in MetLife last year. Or if they didn't, it was in that soccer stadium. But I know they played in New Jersey last year. And guys, like I said, we got a MEAC mic in there. They can correct that if I'm wrong on that.
All right. So next one, we got the Fighting Deshaun Jacksons played Bowie State. They had a good showing. They were able to. They jumped on Bowie State early, and they just kind of walked through the rest of the game. Coach, you got anything to say about that celebrity coach who's turning out to be a pretty darn good coach so far?
I'm gonna say again, I'm watching. They supposed to jump on Bowie State. I think he's doing some different things that Delaware State is used to. They were used to probably either struggle with Bowie and sometimes even lose. Now I've been at Bowie. I went there last year to see what they got and what they up and coming. Again, taking nothing away from Deshaun Jackson, he's actually doing what he's supposed to do. When you come in as a 1A football team, you're supposed to beat these Division II teams, without a doubt. I mean, you're talking about 63 full scholarships to 36, and I'm not sure if Bowie got 36, and really not sure if Delaware State got all 63. But you do have more. You should be able to come in there and win those games, and I think he's doing that. I think the other thing off the field is that they've put together a good schedule. And see, that's one thing about the MEAC and different from the SWAC. The SWAC open up sometime playing each other, and there's more teams in the SWAC. So the MEAC have an opportunity, for 4 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks of just playing anybody. So my hat goes off only to Deshaun Jackson, but also the athletic director. Depends on who's scheduled to put together a good schedule. Let's get some wins, and then those wins motivate them players. We'll see when he start getting to the thick of his schedule.
Okay, we had this game here. We had Norfolk State travel to Rutgers. It seemed like they were having a tussle for a minute, and then in the second half, Rutgers really opened it up. It was 13-0, and then 26-3 going into halftime, and then Rutgers opened up a can in the second half and beat them 10-60. It's funny. I was surprised by this game right here, by Morgan State losing to Toledo 60-0. But Coach, what do you think about those two games? And
don't be surprised. When I was at the University of Cincinnati, we played Toledo, and they actually upset us like 52-55. Toledo has a great winning program. Nick Saban worked up there and won the MAC one time. Toledo has a great program up there, the Rockets. Like I told you guys last week, my nephew is the running back coach there, and he said that they was going to open up a can of whoop ass out in that game. So 60-0 doesn't surprise me.
All right, Coach. We got Bethune-Cookman in South Carolina State. I think this was the only HBCU. Well, this was the only Division I HBCU matchup in the MEAC this past week. and it looked like South Carolina State got off to an amazing start. And then once they got up, they were actually up like 41. Looked like they were up 41-13 going into the fourth, and Bethune-Cookman scored 28 points in the second half. I didn't get a chance to watch any of this game. Did either of you guys?
I didn't get a chance to watch it. South Carolina State was dominant. Looking at the stats, and the stat will tell you where they were.
Well, Coach, looking at the stats will tell you one thing, but watching tells you another. And I'm gonna tell you this: this game was very interesting. And Cam Ransom, who was second team All SWAC, showed why they had him preseason, because he went for a 300-yard game and 4 touchdowns and almost ran for 100 and did 89 yards. It looks like, and Coach Chinsbury has kind of solidified that Ryan Stubblefield is going to be his guy because he went for 286. This game was very interesting because one of the things that in the first half was a tale of two halves. South Carolina State doing South Carolina State things, defensive line dominated the game, getting turnovers, making a lot of big plays. But all of a sudden, Bethune-Cookman woke up, and they started showing some potential that I didn't think anybody thought that they had. So they started running the ball real well, almost did for 200 yards. Of course, they threw for 300 yards. The defense kind of stiffened up a little bit, if you want to call giving up 28 points in the second half, stiffening up, but they were making plays, and that's how they kind of got into the game. So I know South Carolina State, I was told they kind of rotated some of the guys in and out, got some of the younger guys to play. But this bodes well for Bethune-Cookman because, unfortunately, they've looked really bad, and they didn't see any progress. But I saw something, we'll see what happens. I think they got Grambling next or coming up, and they have been a boogeyman, Red Rocky, as you like to say, to Grambling. And Grambling, as we know, we'll talk about them. They did not look good against Kentucky State, so we'll see what happens.
Well, when you look up the score, they was up 41-10 going into the fourth quarter, and actually scored 14 more points in the fourth quarter, where they scored 28. Yeah. So really, they only came within 14 points. We really scored 14 points, but hey. Any progress for Bethune-Cookman is progress, and I get it. You're right about that.
Yeah, and I think Coach Woody is making progress out the door, in my opinion. But
yes,
y'all go ahead and you can frame it however you want to. Now, I usually don't want to highlight this, but because this game features the HBCU Player of the Week, okay, sponsored by Johnnie Thornton. Thank you, Johnny. For the donation, and we certainly appreciate it. I don't know what we're going to do with all that $1.99, but we do know that YouTube is going to get 99 of it. But here we go. Walker Harris was 23 of 36 for 387 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. All right. He had a marvelous game against a winless D2 opponent. I just wanted to mention that. Anything you guys like to say about it?
Well, I think it's good, games like this, for the kid. He's played against some good football team before. He gets his confidence back. Sometimes, playing quarterback myself, you got people drop balls, you got things that happen, especially when the kid handles the ball 100% of the time. So good for Harris, good for North Carolina Central to get his confidence back up. Again, they grade open up with the real people. We'll really see how he plays. So congratulations to Harris and North Carolina Central.
All right, we'll go through these just briefly. South Carolina plays D1 South Florida. I don't see much happening in that game. Now, this is something. I'll pause here because this is in Coach Cole's neck of the woods. A winless Central team is going to be playing Morgan State. Coach, do you have anything interesting to offer as far as context with this game?
No, I've watched Central State on film. They just an up and coming team. I don't see Morgan State having a problem with them. Benedict Burley beat them last week. but I don't see Morgan State having a problem with Central State.
So, and I'll let Campbell handle this one because this is the Fighting Deshaun Jacksons against St. Francis. What do you expect in this game, Campbell?
Hey, man, St. Francis, has not won a game. This is 101. Can Deshaun Jackson pull off another? And St. Francis, like I say, I was looking at this game, and let me just tell you something about St. Francis. Lost the game 29-0 against Louisiana Monroe. Lost against Buffalo 45-6. Lost against CCSU 7-31. That lets you know they're not scoring any points. Once again, this might be one of those games once again that I think Delaware State should be favored and win. And these are games that you're seeing that I think Deshaun Jackson's going to start stacking up wins that are going to allow him to have a winning season.
Yeah. I want, while we own this Deshaun Jackson, I've had his team reach out to me, and we're trying to right now work with Deshaun on getting him on our show, as well as Michael Vick. So that's coming soon. I know everybody is like, oh, well, Cole, you're not with the celebrity coaches. But that's okay. We're gonna get them on because they are it is what it is. So right now I'm in touch with their team. Matter of fact, their team called me today to see what's a good time. We also will bring Brian Jenkins on at Edward Waters. I think we're gonna talk about them a little bit. Are that coming up?
Yeah, they play Bethune-Cookman, so we're gonna talk about them. Okay. So before we move on, I just want to say this to ask Campbell this. What surprises you most about Deshaun Jackson's team early on?
I'm going to be honest with you. The quarterback play. I think that quarterback has played and kept them on schedule. I think what I also like, and this is where, let me see how to say this. We've got a lot of great coaches. But then I think there is a hard line of our great coaches, and then there's a line that are coaches that are trying to aspire to be a good coach. Deshaun Jackson, you can see not a lot of penalties, team very disciplined, playing on schedule. I just like the way they're playing. I like the energy. I like what he's doing. And like I said, I think he looks the part. I think he's coaching the part. I think his staff, which again, I was kind of shocked to see, some of the guys that he put on it that were able to, that he brought in, they're coaching those guys up. And like I say, again, they're going to be a dangerous out. They're going to be a tough out, so, you better look and see where those games are going to be played at when they play Central and when they play on South Carolina, because they're going to be a tough out.
Let me ask you this, Coach, and then we'll move on. How much is Deshaun Jackson's, as you evaluate coaches, how much of his success is coaching versus a function of who he's playing?
I think it's a combination of both. And I actually went back to the teams that he has beaten, a total of 2 wins between 3 of the teams that he has beaten. So it's a combination of both. Like I said, what I look at a first-year coach is, what are the changes that he's making with Delaware State? I think what I like about it is the face look. It's the way they come out. It's the way they look. It's the way they dress. It's the way they play. You know what I mean? So that it's not surprising. It's surprising to me that a first-year guy came in, and those are some of the things that he paid attention to. That means that he's paying attention to the small things, which I grade him on that's a good deal. But yet, he hadn't yet started playing the tough teams, as I say, when the conference open up. So, again, I'm watching. It's good to watch. I think it's a good thing, and I think he's on the right track, because it can fall off, and we will see what's going on. And it ain't about the beginning of the season. It's what you do at the end.
Okay, Coach, as we move on, before we move on to this game, I want to look at something that I don't think either one of us saw. Nobody on this panel saw. Is this result right here, Coach. I wasn't able to see the game, but I had it on my game tracker. because I was watching how this game unfold. I thought Hampton had taken control of the game, so to speak. But then I look up the game, it's 20-20, Coach. What did you see here?
Well, you know, it don't surprise me, man. I mean, when you get a good guy in there, a good fit, and Campbell knows this. We talk about good fit. You know, we was looking for a good fit at Florida A&M. You know, a good fit. Coach is a good fit for North Carolina A&T. You can see the relationships. I've been watching some clips of his team, the relationships to this kid. He's just the perfect fit for there. And I look for him to get it going in the right system because he's going to do two things, Rocky. He's going to make sure they play great defense and they're going to run that football. It ain't going to be throwing that football all around, fumbling ball, snapping over the head. And, you know, he's a disciplinarian. And he has a very close relationship with not only those football players, the alumni. He's been there before. You know, he's a part of the great years. He has the old players coming back. No different from when Deion started turning and having his professional athletes. You know, that's what you get. It's just the right fit. And it doesn't surprise me. And I look for him to win a couple more.
All right, Coach. But as we talk about that, we have to also look at this one right here. And Howard and Hampton coming up next week. I don't know the history behind this game, but it's old MEAC foes taking it, mixing it up on HBCU Go in DC. What do you think about this game, and who do you guys think will come out as victorious?
I like Hampton. I think they'll put things together. You know, once again, you know, over in the MEAC, you get to play a lot of preseason games before your conference actually play. You know, Howard over Morehouse this past week, you know, it wasn't really a hard game. Coming back playing a soft team, then coming back and playing a strong team. We'll see how they respond to it.
Someone calls this the Endowment Bowl, I guess. Now, this one right here, from what I understand, Coach, this one is pretty nasty right here, Coach. This is definitely rivals. Some would say big brother against little brother. How do you see this one?
Well, you know, you got two guys that have worked with each other, two guys who have know each other real good. You got, you know, it's the Eagle Classic.
Eagle Aggie Classic, they call it.
Yeah, I better say Aggie too. Classic. You could throw the records out. It's going to be a barn burner. I don't think it's going to be a close one. Let me say that. It's going to be a very close football game, you know, because each other not only know each other, they know each other's teams as well.
Hey, I'm going to be honest with you, Coach. With Walker Harris starting for North Carolina, I don't see how A&T is going to stay in this game. Okay. You know, with him doing all that work against Fayetteville State last week.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.